We're back with Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend. We're talking about this tough topic about finding balance in your marriage. And is it even possible? You say it's not possible. You got some tips for us.
Well, you know, it's whatever. To me, it's possible, but it's totally subjective. We decide if we're in balance, and balance might be you're pulling 75%, I'm pulling 50%. I don't believe we should be striving for 50-50. None of us want half of fidelity, right? How many of you just want 50% faithfulness from your partner? How many of you are good with 75%? So I say we all need to pull the best we can, but when it comes right down to it, I think we all have unique gifts and talents that make it easier for us to do some things than others. Doesn't mean I shouldn't be trying, but I just think we're different.
So part of the concept is just how you look at it then, the perception of what your relationship is experiencing and how you're working it out?
Exactly. Because relationships, there's nothing more subjective than relationships. So when we get into this, and one of the big issues is, like, for example, a lot of husbands turn to their jobs and neglect the time with their wife because they're so into their job. Okay, that's wrong. We need to work on that. And wives that neglect their husbands because they're a mother, we still need to work on that. At some point, our relationships are growing, living things that are going to die if we don't feed them. And my rule is I don't care why you're not feeding the relationship, it's going to die. If we're not taking care of that baby, it's going to die. So we're going to give you some tips. 4 keys, okay? 4 keys to feeding the relationship when time's at issue.
When it feels unbalanced, when it feels
like...
I don't even want to use the word balance, but...
Yeah, it's good. Out of balance. When we feel like we're not quite cutting it. The first rule is we need to find the compliment, not the critique. Okay, this is, to me, is a really important thing, because a lot of times when we bring up problems in our marriage, a lot of times we end up arguing about, like, so I don't spend enough time with you? Like what? I'm so busy, I've got so many kids. What he's saying to you when he's saying we're not spending enough time together is what?
I want to spend time with you?
I want you. I want to be with you. So there's a huge compliment when either the wife's begging for more time with the husband or the husband's begging for more time with the wife. It's, I want to be with you. If we could start to see through some of our fights that what people are really trying to say is, I like you.
Can you find a compliment in every critique, though?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes they're basically not. There's nothing there.
Just don't work. But like a lot of times, if you look hard enough, there's a solution, healthy side to every complaint. And what I just suggest we start doing is, instead of getting caught up in who's spending what time, where, when, and how, let's start to identify, you know what, first what he's saying is he really wants more time with me. That's a good thing. And I want more time with him instead of work. So once we have that out there, then we can start looking for solutions, and some positive solutions, instead of arguing who's spending time where.
Well, it immediately softens it. I mean, just as you describe that situation and spin the perspective a little bit, it does soften the emotion that comes with that.
And the big reason is because we're looking for the positive. Inside of every conversation, there are things that work. There are good things. Even the fact that we're having a conversation is a good thing.
We're expressing what we really want. We just sort of sometimes disguise it as
we usually disguise it as an argument.
Yeah.
And when we disguise it as an argument, we end up spending the entire time arguing instead of saying, hey, you know what, you want me. You want me back. Works for me. Number 2 is lose the excuse, okay? It's about our choices, not our time, okay? I taught time management for Franklin Covey for 9 years. Traveled the country. I have taught it everywhere, and I, in all of my work, have never been able to find a free minute. I've never been able to go invent a minute. I've never been able to create a minute. All minutes have always existed. So this is not about time management. Finding time for your partner is more about the management than the time. Time's not, you're not going to get more time. You just have to learn to manage your time better. So lose the excuse that you don't have time. The reality is that's all you've got is time. What you're doing poorly probably is you're not spending it wisely. You're investing it in things that don't really matter. And as long as we think we just don't have time, that seems like a pretty good excuse. The problem is, eventually, you heard about the miners accident with all those miners? Do you think they're all begging for more time right now? We want more time. So we can wait till life hits us so hard that now we don't have anything, or we lost somebody, or we can start saying today, how am I going to spend more time with my partner today?
So you're kind of dancing around the priority issue. Where are your priorities and how are they?
And the next point is about this prioritization, because if we don't prioritize our lives, life is going to prioritize it for us. If I don't start to put my family first, then my Super League son's going to put it first, and his team's going to put it first, and we're going to be, and baseball, and scouts, and dance, and piano, and everything will line up and start telling me how to prioritize my life.
It's like that song, Cats in the Cradle. I cry every time I hear it. It's that same idea.
That's why I can't listen to it.
You let time, though, take over, and it will.
And eventually, think about it, eventually we're all going to suffer a traumatic event. And when the traumatic event, I kind of like them in a way because they seem to align our lives.
They get you back on gear.
Everything back in
whatever
order.
you're supposed to be doing.
Let's not wait for a disaster to have to align our lives. So let's align it now by realizing that there's no excuses. If you don't have enough time with your family, it's because you're making choices that are out prioritizing your family. Okay? Third rule, very simple. Focus on the important, not the urgent. I'm firmly convinced if we all had a pager that went off every time my wife was sad, I would be there. So careful, attentively loving her and lifting her.
Give me an example. What is important? What is urgent?
Important would be spending time with the family. Important would be learning to talk with your partner. Important would be exercising. Urgent is when you're in the hospital and they're doing CPR on you. It's all cardiovascular. They're working your cardio right there. The problem with it is it's always been important to exercise. It only is urgent when it's too late. All of our most important things in life are highly important and not always urgent. Make sense? So it's not always urgent to apologize, but it's always important. But when does apologies become urgent?
When they're needed.
In the middle of a divorce mediation.
It's too late,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I won't do that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's too late. You can't talk your way out of something you behaved your way into. The way we fix this then is we've got to work on the important things and not let the urgent take
and
priority.
sometimes when you get to the point of like fighting in a relationship, for example, it starts to feel urgent,
it's
right?
totally
so
urgent.
if you can stop it, it makes sense. What
That's
you're
right.
saying, if you can stop it before it gets to the fight and the urgency sets in, then the importance takes over.
So what that also might mean is that we actually make it urgent so that we can actually deal with it. A lot of us are afraid of dealing with something that's just important but not urgent. So we actually wait till it's like we could put the fire out as it's just embers, or we can wait 6 weeks till it's grown up through the walls and the rafters, and now it's a major inferno. Firefighters do not get paid just for putting fires out. Most of the work they do is on fire prevention, which is, by the way, always important and not always urgent. We should always be doing fire prevention on our marriage and our conversations and our relationship instead of just trying to make up.
I love that.
Okay.
Last but certainly not least, you have to formalize time together. You have to get it on the schedule. Time every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year, when it's just going to be couple time. If it's not in the schedule, guess what? It's probably not going to happen.
It's going to happen.
If I wanted surgery done, I'm going to schedule it, by golly, because I want that surgery done. If I want a wing surgery and hopefully they can fit me in, it's less likely to happen. A lot of us are trying to fit our marriages in without planning it, without scheduling it. So I'd find time every day to connect, to hang out together, to watch a show together, to cuddle together, do anything. Every week I'd have a date. Every month I'd have an activity, maybe an overnight. Every quarter, away from the kids overnight. And every year, traditions. Traditions, traditions, traditions. But they've got to be on your schedule or they don't exist.
Great ideas. That's how you can find balance. It's not always 50-50, but there's some great ideas.